we will explain what that is immediately. So take it away.
Hello everyone. Before I begin, I have two side notes. I have a bit of a cough. My apologies if that interrupts. I'm no longer contagious. I was sick 2 weeks ago. It's fine. I just have a lingering, annoying cough. And second is a question: are there any full stack developers in the room? One, I already apologize. There is a lot of nuance. I might not touch upon it. There is a lot of nuance that I will come to you personally and give at the end. So first off, who am I? I'm a test automation engineer. I hope to become a full stack tester, or to be able to genuinely say that I am a full stack tester. You'll see why in a few moments. I'm the managing partner at Brewtcon, or I am one of both managing partners. My colleague at the back, Patrick, who is very busy preparing the food. Next, I'm a teacher. This is what I love to do. I love to stand in front of an audience and give an explanation, or to give whatever wisdom I have accumulated in these past 12 years. And I am the parent of 2.8 children. I don't have a kid that is missing an arm or a leg. There is a kid on the way. So by the end of December, I will have 3 kids. For now, we have 1 in development. The first 2 came out okay, so I'm assuming. My career path, very quickly, I started in IT, I think about 14 years ago. I started working at Vente Exclusive, which is a web shop that no longer exists, and I was a support engineer. So I had 200 colleagues, and each time they had a problem with their computer, or with the database, or with anything, they called me. There was a team of 5, but everyone called me. So that was quite heavy, and at some point they let go one of the testers due to inappropriate workplace behavior, and they asked me to replace him. So I went and replaced him because that was fun, and I got to join the logistics team. Anyone who's ever been into a warehouse knows that they have those scanners, and those scanners do beep. So that's what I did for 6 months. I had a beeper on my desk, and the only thing you heard was beep, beep, an entire day for 8 hours at a time. So after a while, I went insane, and I asked, what can I do? This has to be better. There has to be a way. So I changed, and I became a test automation engineer, which was a lot quieter, mostly. So I had the API call. I could just scan items without having to hear the annoying beep. I no longer had that device. I could finally work on a laptop like I had. Then I joined Be Ignited, became a consultant. By then I had experience in banking, healthcare, a bit of insurance, a lot of public services. So currently I work for the Flemish government, which is always a bundle of laughs. And I do a bit of managing partner at Be Ignited on the side. So that's who I am. Why am I here? When I started my career and they asked me, can you join the testing team into the logistics, I went on the internet. What is testing? Because I didn't know. What was the first article that I found? Well, that's promising. I still went for it because I'm a sucker for anything that looks like a challenge and that looks interesting. But I kept, over the years, getting this, and this, and this, and this. So during my 12 years of software testing, I read a lot of blogs because I read quite a lot. And I always read something like this. Testing is dead, testing is dying, testing is going to die, testing is already dead. This is now 10 times worse with AI, because apparently AI can test stuff. I have an opinion, come and ask me about it, I'll gladly rant. I obviously don't believe that AI is going to do anything. These were all trends that they talked about that didn't make it. One of these trends was, as my colleague said, self-healing. Self-healing was going to kill QA. That didn't work, luckily. Agile was going to kill QA. We talked about that today. It didn't work. So testing changed. And I want to talk about the next change, full stack testing. It's a concept I first heard in the UK. It's completely new. Even people in the UK were like, oh, this is interesting. And then there was a group of 5 testers that said, yeah, we're full stack testers. We do this. So let's see who in the room of the testers, I'm sorry to exclude some, is a full stack tester. Show of hands. We're going to jump across the board. Who here is a functional tester? Who here tests basic functionality? Okay, great. Who here does test automation? Performance testing. Security testing? I expect to see not a lot of hands. Okay, I'm going to, small side note, who has tested the functionality of a login page and then has seen if you have the correct rights to see what you need to see? You've logged in, as this type of user, I'm not allowed to see that tab. Who has logged in and seen that type of tab or not? Congratulations, you're some kind of security tester, because that's type of security. Accessibility, usability? Oh, I hope to see a lot more hands. Work on that. The EU Accessibility Act, the fines are interesting if the EU at some point does a fine. DevOps, who built a pipeline, who configured the pipeline. Again, show of hands, nice. Let's go here. Anyone tested with data? Again, a lot of hands. AI, who tested an AI? May God save your soul. Mobile testing, anyone? Oh, look at that. Let's skip gambling and stuff. Monitoring. Who here had the pleasure of release management? Who raised his hands more than once? Congratulations! You're full stack testers. So change the LinkedIn profile, please. We are all multitaskers in the end of the day. We do a lot. You touched on it. We have to do more. Our skill set is broadening every day. Why? Because else we can't keep up. Development had the same change a few years ago, where they became full stack developers because they had to touch front end, they did a bit of infrastructure. But we're doing that exact same change. We just don't realize it because we're still in our testing silo. Okay, we're part of a team. Are we part of a team? Who here has a lot of talks about what he wants from the developers? Who here has had retro tickets, QA versus development? So are you part of the development team or are you fighting against the team? Who really feels part of the development team? Who can really say, I am part of my current team? I see 7, 9 if I count the very doubtful people. That's not a lot. It is still very much we are in our testing silo, development is in their silo. And even inside of development, you still have a bit of the front-end silo and the back-end silo. We are still a very siloed community. But we as testers are becoming multitaskers. I have a lot of conversations with a lot of different types of developers. I talk to our infrastructure guys because I need a new pipeline set up and I don't have the rights to do it myself. Yeah. I talk to a lot of front-enders because, hey, this is weird, can you change that? I need that data token for automation. I talk to a lot of backenders, I talk to release management, I talk to a lot of people. I do a lot. If I go back to my favorite slide, I do quite a lot. You guys do quite a lot. We should be proud of our skill set that we've been developing without knowing. These are, according to IS2QB, different types of testing domains. Who here realized he was working in different types of testing domains on the same day? 7 people. There are a lot more than 7 people here in the room. We're doing quite a lot. We don't realize it. So, full stack developers. Again, I'm terribly sorry. Full stack developers, jack of all trade, master of none, which we often consider as better than a master of none. I think this is our future. We have to keep learning, we have to keep expanding, our technical knowledge has to keep increasing. We can no longer not have any technical knowledge. It's a must in the near future. So we have to keep getting new ideas, new innovations, new sensations. We can't. So we cut with full stack testers. When I first saw the term introduced, it was accompanied by, you never guessed it, QA is dead. Long live QA, because we just change. As we've done over the past decade and a half, probably more, but I wasn't in QA back then. We evolve, we change, we come to the new road. And then I have a very difficult slide. I have a confession to make. I absolutely do not believe in full stack development, and I don't believe in full stack testers. At no point is this a good idea. Why? Because I have an approximate knowledge of many things, but in the end I know nothing. And that's a bit the fear that I have. It's something that I see with full stack developers. With a full stack developer, you have a backender that dabbles a bit in frontend. And you have a frontender that dabbles a bit in backend. A tiny bit. And it's the same with infrastructure. You never have that one guy that knows all. Okay, you can have that one guy, but it's one guy in 1,000. I mean, can we really name an entire role based on that one guy in a corner that doesn't make enough money for what he all does? So why am I still advocating that we should go to full stack testers? Because we should at least try. It's not something we can achieve, but it's something we should aspire to. We should at least try to be someone who knows a lot. Do you have to write pen tests? Do you have to know all the security scripts? No. It's interesting if you have an idea how it works, so that you can talk to, you never guessed it, the specialist. Because we'll still need real security testers. We'll still need real performance testers. But we can have a very different conversation. I specifically looked for a GIF in which no one dies. Just a side remark, if you look for GIFs with I know my lane or stay in your lane, it gets really dark really fast. This actually took me a while to find one that is safe. So that guy's just an asshole, so it's okay. Full stack testers have the unique skill set that they can have a conversation with a lot of people. And that's what you want. These days, if I go, the website feels slow. And dev goes, it's a you problem. Is it? So I can write a very minimal, a very basic test that actually shows that I'm right. It doesn't show enough because I'm not smart enough in performance testing to show a real decent performance test, but I can show something. I can give just enough data for them to talk to a specialist that comes in and gets enough data. The same with security. I have passing knowledge. Again, going to my, I have an approximate knowledge of many things. I can give a hint. I can know, like, this is weird. I can investigate a bit, and I know just enough to escalate a problem to someone who actually knows. So we will have this amazing conversation between us, full stack testers, and specialists. We'll have teamwork. We'll no longer have your organization going, yeah, we'll hire performance testing to take a look. Yeah, but I know that it's fine. I looked at it, and it's fine. I couldn't find anything. You don't have to do this whole expensive thing. Or the other way around. Hey, you should hire a performance tester. Is definitely a problem. We need to fix this now. You can have a conversation based on data, on knowledge. It doesn't have to be a lot. Don't leave this talk thinking you have to know everything, please. Just know that you have to know something. With the age of AI, it's going to be a lot more difficult to count on our expertise, because everyone thinks they have expertise because they can ask ChatGPT, and ChatGPT will give an approximation of an answer. But if you know, if you've studied, if you've educated yourself, shared knowledge in communities like these, you can have that conversation with a real person. And that's the value of becoming a full stack tester. You'll be able to talk to anyone who really knows. Questions, thoughts, panics?
How can you learn just enough on a topic?
I don't know. That's a very honest answer. If you're vaguely interested in the topic, you will. It's that simple. If someone has to force feed the knowledge to you, it's not going to work. So don't try. I know that acquiring technical knowledge or acquiring knowledge in something that you don't care about is an extremely hard and time-consuming and energy-consuming thing. So figure out in which role you can expand. So I know you, so I know you're a functional tester. But if you care about data, go the data way. If you care about performance, go the performance way. There are quite a lot of tools that don't require too much. Do it like that. Broaden the horizon so that you can become more of a generalist. Don't force yourself into some shape that just won't fit you, because in the end you will burn out. Joop mentioned it, full stack developers, we're forcing developers to do everything, and in the end they will just quit, and rightly so. I don't want us to fall into that same gap. Any other questions, panics?
Earlier, why you can become full stack. How do you become a full stack?
You don't. No, it's you can aspire to. It's a work in progress. And for me, at the moment, it's impossible to say when you have arrived there, because I don't really consider myself there. My first slide, the About Me slide, this one, until 20 minutes ago, that said full stack tester. And in the end, I chickened out. I am not arrogant enough, I think. I am very arrogant, but I just chickened out because I don't know what the border is. I just.
Are there like skills you think that could, except from being able to talk, let's say?
No, please. Way too much. Nobody has this kind of time. No, what I would suggest that is important is to focus on the middle lane. And not everything from the middle lane. Security testing, there are a few security testers in the room. That is a very niche occupation. If you know just enough to talk to those guys, that's already a win. I once had a security tester sit next to me for 3 days. I didn't understand a thing he said. But apparently there was a grave problem with the website. This is and will always be a work in progress. Something to try to aspire to. And as I said to Cynthia, it's taking whatever shape you want and educating yourself into that shape. For instance, I kind of like performance, mostly because I like to code, and performance testing is basically working with API calls and code, so that's right up my alley. So I'm taking performance, I'm doing a bit of accessibility, I'm doing functional automation, DevOps, and I'm a somewhat technical person. So I skip security because it kind of frightens me.
If you can't code, you can't be a full stack.
I think if you're not technical, it's going to be very difficult to achieve, yes. I also think that in the future, testers will need to have some coding skills. I recently had, and I saw, I recently had a talk with someone that started using the Atlas browser which is the AI agent browser that OpenAI released, in the manual testing, because he didn't want to manually test anymore. And he considered that his form of automation. And then I died. Because that's in no way, shape, or form any form of automation, because that's how he was going to automate testing the website. So yeah, I do think that technical skills will be required. Maybe not this year, maybe not next year, maybe not a year after, but at some point it's coming. I think it's inevitable.
Well, to add on, for me always it's about the context you're in.
Yeah.
You can learn all the new things, but if you don't apply them, you'll lose the knowledge.
Yeah.
Unless you do that in your own project. So I think it's always take a look at your current context that you're in, see what areas you're interested in, but you can apply into that context. That's always a good learning step.
It's grab the chances you get. If the client starts mentioning, hey, maybe we should do some performance test before the release, yeah, that's basically an invitation to start looking into performance testing. If they start mentioning security testing, you can do the same. It's all about listening and staying in the context of the client. Or if you self-develop at home, experiment that way.
So essentially, about 5 years ago when I was job hunting, I saw actually an offer for a full stack QA, and I was very perplexed by it because it was the first time I saw the term, and I was like,
In Belgium?
okay. I think so, yeah.
Ooh,
It was in
cool.
Ostende. Yeah. So I was very intimidated by it because there was a lot of technicalities, etc. But nowadays, if you think about it, the requirements from back then are now just kind of wrapped nicely in QA engineer and these kind of things. So do you think that the full stack QA will actually like become a thing? Like, can we actually elbow ourselves in there?
Can we elbow ourselves into that label? Yeah, I think so. I had a client who called it T-shaping, in which QA had to do everything and dev had to do everything, but the Scrum Master and the PM didn't. Going to leave that hanging. Sorry. I think that is a term that's coming. I think that the market will not allow the term quickly, because a full stack developer makes a tiny bit more than a developer. So I'm hoping that a full stack QA is going to make a tiny bit more than another QA. But that depends on how the market evolves, which is not looking great at the moment. There was a question, yeah.
I wanted to say thank you for introducing this idea, because I noticed that because I do a couple of those things, I started figuring out what kind of tester I am. And they're saying I'm a tester, but then people just think I'm a very, like, I don't have much skills because I don't put myself in a box, so now you gave me another box.
Yeah.
I'll start using this.
I kind of hope that I gave you the broadest box possible. If you're looking for inspiration, there are a few testers that you should look up. One of them is Chris Armstrong, which is a UK tester currently working for SmartBear. Well, he just started working at SmartBear. He's quite amazing. And another one that I would advocate for everyone to follow is Ben Owen. He, in my head, is the original full stack tester. Yeah, he calls himself a full stack tester, but I didn't want to go there. I had a conversation with him during a conference called Testing Peers about how he looks at testing. And for him, this is his normal skill set. If I talk to him about, yeah, and do you do that? Yeah. There is nothing special for him to work through this list. There is nothing special. It's just part of his job. And that's what I would advocate for us as well. This list is very special, and I hope some of you realize that you're doing quite a lot that nobody told you. But this is a list that we can aspire to do everything on this list. And the list is not complete. Yeah, we do quite a lot, and we do a lot more than I was able to captivate, but I don't like a lot of text on a slide, as you've probably noticed. Any other question? Yeah?
I totally understand
Could you elaborate on the concept of a full stack team? Because I'm terrified now.
Different domains there are in testing, and there are also a lot of different domains in development and in analysis and architecture and whatever.
Yes.
A team should aspire to contain as much as all of those domains within the team. Do you think that's possible?
I think what you're describing is utopia.
Well, it shouldn't each team have those skill sets to be a good team in their context. So I'm not saying all those, but if you're working with the first thing is that your team should have all the skills to do the work that you're supposed to do. So if you have a gap or something, then yeah, I would say yes. But
As an aspiration.
That's a great question for the open space.
Yeah, okay. Any other particular questions? No questions? Okay. Thank you.